All right, gang, a lot of you have been asking about macros, so I wanted to do a quick little overview of macros 101, what they are, how to figure them out, who they're good for, all that sort of thing. So, what exactly are macros? They are your proteins, fats, and carbs, and what we're eating. So proteins being like chicken, beef, fish, eggs, your meats, right? Fats being nuts, seeds, oils, and butters, other things along those lines. Carbohydrates being your fruits, veggies, grains, breads, pastas, all that sort of stuff. So the big thing is, all right, well, how much should I be eating? What should my macro breakdowns be, or what should my numbers be? To figure that out, there's a lot of different equations to use, but the two main things that you'll need to know is your body fat percentage, so we can figure out your lean body mass, so we'll also need to know your body weight, and then your activity level, whether you're a desk worker, whether you're a construction worker, things like that will dictate what your caloric need is for a day, and then based off of that, you kind of chip away and figure out your different macronutrient breakdowns. Usually kind of a baseline good starting point to figure out your caloric breakdown is about 30% fat, 30% protein, and then 30% carbohydrate, or 40% carbohydrate. So 30% protein, 30% fat, 40% carbohydrate. Again, that's just kind of a standard one. Some people like to skew it a little bit other ways. As you go through this, over time, you might find that you do better with more protein and less carb, or more fat. So when you're tracking your macros, right, how do you know? So you need to use nutrition labels, because you'll have foods that will have proteins, fat, and carbs in them. And you'll need to figure out the different breakdowns of that. You'll need to weigh and measure what you're eating using either a weight scale, measuring cup, whatever it is, and then you'll likely need to do some math. You'll need to do a little bit of multiplication, addition, subtraction, just figuring out how many grams are in 2 servings. The nutrition label will likely show 1 serving, so for a lot of people 1 serving isn't enough, so maybe you want 2.5 servings, or maybe you're specifically trying to figure out how much you need to get exactly 15 grams of protein. So you have to kind of fill in your numbers. So you're going to look at the label or do a Google search. Things like chicken or apples or veggies, they don't necessarily come with nutrition labels. So you got to look those things up and then kind of chip away at it from there. Who is this for? Personally, I think it's mostly for like high-level athletes, people trying to get a competitive edge, really trying to dial in their nutrition that last little bit, and or those with existing eating habits, good eating habits already. They already eat a clean diet. They don't have a ton of cravings or things like that. They're able to sustain a good diet regularly, and they kind of want to go that little step further and really dial in and track what they're eating. For the most part, though, people, if you're just looking to try and lose weight, you can use your hand to measure, so you don't necessarily need to use weight scales or cups or anything. You just use your hand as a guide, and you just should eat real food. Pretty much everything I have listed here, things that don't necessarily have a nutrition label, things that you can't get in the center of the grocery store, perishables, real food, right? If you stick to eating real food and kind of, even if you just kind of use your eyeball and you fill up your plate with 1/3 protein, 1/3 of it kind of fat, and then, well, I guess 1/3 of your plate with fat would be a lot, but anyways, and then a good source of veggies, carbohydrates, getting most of those from fruits and veggies rather than from starches or grains is probably a good way to go about it. But if you are interested in trying to get more in depth with macros and really want to figure out your numbers and actually do this, come talk to me. We can figure out your numbers. We'll do your body fat. We'll get you all squared away with that, and then we can start talking about best practices for meal prepping, because you'll definitely need to do that. You need to really plan and prepare. It's a much more involved process counting your macros. But again, I don't think it's necessary for someone who's just trying to lose weight or eat a little bit better to do all of this. As long as you stick to real foods, like Glassman says with the original CrossFit documents, eat fruits and veggies, eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. If you stick with that, you'll probably be pretty good. But yeah, you do want to measure a little bit, and again, you can use your hand as a guide. So I can also give you guys that reference as well, how to use your hand as a measuring guide. So that's kind of the breakdown on macros, intro, sort of crash course. I'm not a dietitian or anything like that, so I can't officially prescribe anything, but just wanted to answer some questions that you guys had about what exactly are macros and kind of what they're good for. So that's all for today. We'll talk soon.